Yo, what's up? This Aaron Bro from Orlando. I'm rocking with Point Trophy, man. Humble dudes, good dudes, you know what I mean? Everything, nothing but good vibes. You know what I mean? Just chopping it up. You already know what's next. If you ain't tuned in right now, fucking up. Straight up, Point Trophy. Hey, yo, what's good? This is Roman Drake from the Curious Team. And you know we always like this, my man Rello. That's Play Proven Podcast. Boy, you already know. Point Trophy.
It's your kid, YBM Smooth, fucking with Point Proven right now. Tap in with the gang, man.
Going?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name of Rello. That's Rello.
4 times the genius, forerunner.com.
And today we have a special guest. We have a radio legend, ICT.
Hey.
He's been working on the radio station since I was a little young kid. To be honest, in my teenage years, this is the voice that I've heard after games at Taco Bell, everything like that. So, without further ado, I give it up for the man Royce.
Royce.
What's up? It's good to be here.
All right, how's everything going, sir?
Glad to have you.
Living the dream.
Living the
Living
dream.
the dream.
Well, let's get it started. First off, Royce, where you from?
Born and raised right here in Wichita. Went to North
He's
High.
Wichita bred.
Yeah, I was a West Sider though. I grew up around 13th and West. Went to North. So yeah, man, this is my home.
Were you at North High when they were actually good at sports?
No, I was there when it was a little crazy. I was there like my freshman year was kind of like the end of the real crazy,
the good era.
I mean, I was there. I'm gonna tell my age, 94 to 97.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So it was it was a little wild back then. It was a little wild.
Yeah, y'all was on the decline at that time. I'm a Heights.
Oh, there's a definite 20-year drought. Like, you know what I mean?
It got bad.
Yeah.
It got bad. You know, I'm a Heights High alumni till the day I die. You know, but was radio your first love, or did you have passions, before that?
Anything like radio or TV, anything like that. Like, I was a knucklehead in high school, dropped out. Like, didn't graduate. The 2 classes I got at AM were like TV production 1 and 2. Like, that's the only thing. Like, that was the only thing I really liked to
Put
do.
interest in.
Yeah, I mean, I was that kid when people were buying like car rims and everything like that. I was buying like stereo equipment and turntables, and that's actually how I got into it. Is I bought turntables and started DJing back
What was
in
the
the
DJ
day.
name?
I really didn't have one. I think I just went by DJ Royce.
DJ Royce. So it was always Rolls Royce.
Yeah, I think it was just like DJ Royce or So yeah, that was around junior year, so I was like 95ish.
Ooh.
95, yeah.
We're not gonna talk too much in your age. We're not gonna do you like that.
Oh, I'm 40 this year, so it's no trip. It's no trip.
You young man.
I've earned them.
Hey, you do your thing. But where the name Rolls Royce come from? Because I was talking to me and 4 times was having a conversation, and I swear everybody thought about the name Rolls Royce at some point in their life.
Well, you hear it from a lot of different people. Like, everybody will be like, "Man, I named you Rolls Royce." It officially happened. I don't know if you guys remember. Are you guys from Wichita?
Yeah.
That's right. You went to
I was born and raised.
107.9 Jams.
Yeah.
That was the first station I was on.
Oh, ooh.
Because I started out there and ended up doing nights there.
Okay.
And the first day I was getting ready to go on air, the guy was like, "Man, what?" Because I was just going by DJ Royce, to fill in and everything. And the dude was like, "Man, coming up next, we got Rolls Royce." And it stuck. Because I thought it was always a little cliche,
Yeah.
So it just kind of stuck from there. But yeah, and that was like this November of 06.
Okay.
Something like that.
Well, speaking of 107, what had happened? Is it true that 92.5 bought them out, or was it another place that just took them out, or
they got sold by a guy named Steckline. It was Steckline Communications. Larry Steckline, I think. He's big into like agriculture and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it got sold. It went off air December 31st, 2007.
Oh, you remember the day too? Exactly.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was like, the very last song was Alicia Keys, like "You'll Never See Me Again." I believe that's the title.
Oh man, I bet
That was the last song.
Y'all made it so emotional.
That was the last song, and we were even doing a New Year's Eve remote. I think it wasn't Cat Eyes at the time. It was Club LaFay. Harry and
Oh man.
Rock. and then it turned into the Groove after that.
That was before I was even allowed in the club.
So we were out there. We're like, and the whole thing was we couldn't say anything because it was kind of under wraps. So we were on air. We were like, it's our last day here, but we couldn't say we got sold. We couldn't say the station was changing. We couldn't say anything.
It was just like, this is
it. So I mean, and I think I know I recorded my whole show and all of the T.O. Devil Todd Reynolds his show.
Wow.
But like I got the tape of like the whole day. Like I have like 8 tapes, 1 hour each side, like the 90-minute, like high definition,
the whole day.
like Magnavox tapes, and I just recorded like the whole day. And
that was a historic day though.
It was one of the saddest days. It was like we're at a remote, and it was like at midnight we're all just like. Yeah, we'll see you later.
That was like 106 and Park, like coming to an end.
Yeah.
It was like one of those like historic moments. Like I can't believe this is really happening.
Yeah. And so it got changed to classic country.
Yep. I remember one day everybody got in the car and it was country, and everybody's like, "What the hell happened?" It was,
and it was like dead air for maybe like 2 days before they made the switch.
That's crazy.
And so like even the whole thing was like just slowly but surely like cleaning it out and everything. So like our last day. Like it was just like an empty office, just like with just a board, like and everything in there. And then they came in and took everything out and moved it to their offices. So, yeah, man. I mean, I remember I took pictures and everything, and it,
sad day.
Yeah. What was that first radio job for you?
Well, my first like radio experience was at KBTL for Butler Community College.
Okay.
Because they have a student-run radio station, 88.1 The Grizz.
Hey,
take it back.
And so when I was there, about a year later, while I was still in the program, I got a call from Playmaker, who is Chris Stimson, who I knew through high school, African Male Leadership Academy. And he was like, "Hey, I don't know if you want to, but they're doing this show called Generation Rap. It's going to be high school students. It's going to be 1 hour." A week, 8 to 9 a.m. And it's not really too much pay. It's not really doing too much, but it's gonna get your foot in the door. I was like, bet,
I'll do it.
Bet, like
right there.
Went and did it. So my first day was like January 14th, 06, and by November I was doing nice.
okay.
The first one was KBTL for college radio, but like the first paid one was 107.9 Jams, and I was there for 2 years, and then after they signed off, 2 weeks later. I got a call and interviewed, and I started at Power, originally in midday. So I started there the Tuesday after Martin Luther King, 2008.
Man, you got your dates down.
Down.
You got the dates down. That's crazy. So was the transition kind of tough, or was it pretty easy going from 107 to Power?
It was pretty easy. I mean, it just wasn't as hype, especially going from nights to middays. Because at the time, the music was kind of the same. I mean, because those are the days of Lil Wayne, Lollipop, like
T-Pain.
Some of the high T-Pain,
2008 was a great year.
Yeah, Kanye West, like Good Life.
Yeah.
He was still had some of the singles coming
on and everything.
Yeah, and so the Flow Rider, low. I mean, that's when that first started popping off. So it was still kind of urban. It had a lot more urban sensibilities. Back then, because that's kind of what the top 40 music was. Yeah.
And then things kind of started making the transition, and it added a little bit more pop. And
probably about 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
You started seeing all the DJs coming out, and the internet started popping up like that. Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother angle to it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. In the city, to me, you're viewed as the brother at 93.5. You're like, you're one of us. We relate to you so well. Just the voice and just your personality. Like, it just seems like you represent the black community so well. How did you make sure that your personality stood out amongst others at a radio station?
Well, I mean... Because I haven't really done anything different.
Okay.
I have to be honest. I mean, we all do things maybe more in the eye or more out of the eye.
Okay.
Not just for the community, but also for the black community. So I can't say I'm the only one at the station doing things for the black community.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what I mean? Because Greg does a lot. We all do a lot. But for me, like I'm kind of a hip hop. Like I came up in hip hop. Like that's like I remember watching Rap City in '87. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like that's kind of so. Like I've always been the hip hop dude. That's always been the music I fell in love with. That got me wanting to start DJing. Like when I started wanting to do radio, I have family down in Houston, and there's a station 97.9 The Box, like one of the premier hip hop stations in the country, right? And they had a live mix show. It was 1996. Now, let's roll back.
Okay.
Back in the day, they only used to have promo singles, right?
Yeah.
So it would be on TV, or you had to listen to it on the radio, or a DJ would get the promo single and you could hear it in the club for about 3 months before you could buy it, right? So, Outkast, Elevators. I'm watching that on Rap City, and I'm like, this shit goes hard. Like you know what I mean? I'm like, I love this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the second album. Everybody's excited for it. They're doing this whole different angle.
Yeah, that's a transition time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's went from Southern Playalistic to AT Aliens. And so I'm in Houston. I got an aunt down there, rolling down the highway. Me and my mom, we're listening to 97.9 The Box with the Mad Hatter, who's now the morning show. He's been there like 20, 25 years.
Dope.
And they had a live mix show in the afternoon drive time, and they're playing Elevators by Outkast, and I'm like,
playing Elevators,
and they're you don't hear anything like that here.
Yeah.
Right. You never up until 107.9. They had a couple, but there wasn't a true hip hop urban like that.
No. And we miss it still.
Right.
We miss it.
And I was like, I've got to do that. I got to have a live mix show on the radio. I've got to do that. And I was able to do that at 107.9 Jams. So I'm really kind of proud about that. But like that was
That's
one of
an
those
accomplishment
where I was like,
see something.
where I have to at least, so, and that's kind of when I bought the turntables and really started mixing.
DJ Royce came to life.
Yeah, I mean, but that was one of those, and they had a thing because it was also Friday. They had a thing called Freestyle Friday where you could call in and do live freestyles on the radio, and you could battle it out against people. And every Friday you could win. It was like 106 in Park.
Yeah,
That's hard.
Yeah,
and it was all
but on
live.
the radio.
Yeah.
Okay, that's dope.
And when I say live, not pre-tape, because they had the beat going. They're like, they're like, hey, 97.9 The Box, hey, we got this. Remember, if you cuss, because it's pre-2001, pre-Janet Jackson, so you could kind of get away with that a little more. I mean, it was the kind of stuff you could never do now. You could
Justin
never
Timberlake
do
just messed up everything for everybody.
you could, and even back in 107.9, like 10 years ago, there's stuff I did then that I could never do now. Ever.
So the laws, so the rules are just so thick now.
It's 50% the rules are thick. It's 50% the companies don't want any liabilities or to get sued.
Yeah. Okay.
Case in point, here's a great story. 107.9 had a thing called the Hater Hotline. You could call up and the bed was Wino Pop That Trunk. Where the haters at? Where the haters at? And so I'd sing, and I got an idea from a guy in St. Louis that had it was called Shorty the Prince. He would say, it's time to do the voicemail. It's time to do the voicemail. And people would call up and leave voicemails, show you how old it was, right?
Wow.
Call and leave a voicemail.
Right. That's how
After
old
the
it
beep.
was. Right.
Yo, man, I'm
No,
hating
it
on
was
it.
exactly like that, yeah. But it was hot,
That's
because
wild,
people were
though.
calling it. And so I had a thing. And so they'd be playing that, and I'd be like, 436-1079 if you want to get on the hater hotline.
Hey.
And then I would play the calls. People call up hating like, and so one time somebody called up like, man, I want to hate on this cop, like Chris Johnson. Man, he pulled me over and I aired it. The next day they were like, yo, the chief of police had a complaint because back then you could be like, just don't do it again. Now that'd probably be like,
They shut the whole thing down.
or it would be my job because I gave the first and last name of a cop on there who pulled somebody over.
So that could start a frenzy.
Yeah, that who pulled
that could
somebody
definitely start a
over,
frenzy.
and whether it's true or not, like you know what I mean. It's kind of
Yeah.
like that. That's I believe what they call libel, like because we have to do training on all that now.
Word.
A bunch of shit.
Are there a lot of politics in the radio?
I mean, which part of radio? I mean,
behind the scenes.
There's politics. in radio, but there's different politics in every part of radio.
Because I'm just curious because
There's politics on the business side. Like there's certain things we won't talk about because of who we are and kind of the city we're in. There's certain people, companies, industries we won't talk about because it might be advertising dollars. At the end of the day, it's about making money.
That's true.
Yeah.
And there's politics with, record companies and politics with promotions and politics with business people, politics with the city of Wichita when we're trying to do things. It's at the end of the day, it's all politics.
Yeah,
I feel you.
Politics and everything.
Okay. What is the atmosphere like in 92.5? Because I mean, we hear you guys. You guys have your own time slots and stuff like that. Like, is it like a family? Base?
I mean, it's funny. It's kind of one of those things where we probably don't, because we are so busy, don't have a chance to get together and party as much as we should. Because I mean, let's say the morning show, like Carla, Greg and Carla, they come in real early.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I get there about 8:39, Carla might be there like 2 more hours and then bounce and then go do something. So I'll be like, hey, what's up? How's it doing? Have everything going, that sort of thing. And then I go in the prod room and then I'm kind of doing my thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, but we all kind of integrate, talk to each other. It's all family.
It's a workplace.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the legendary Craig the Hitman like?
Well, it's Greg.
Greg, my bad, Greg.
He's cool. You know what I
what's
mean?
he like? Because he's been on the radio forever.
Yeah.
I remember that voice forever. Yeah.
He's been around since.
He's cool. Yeah. I mean, I pray to even have half the career he has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Well, whatever happened with the Crashed in the Hitman in the morning show? Did he
that was before I was even there.
The who?
There was a day before, at the very years ago. Hitman had a co-host and his name was Crash, and it was an amazing radio show.
It was a good show.
and also remember those were kind of like the old rules, the stuff you could get away with back then too.
And I never thought of it that way. That there are a lot of things now on the radio that not gonna fly like it did before.
And even like post Janet Jackson, it was more about what you say.
Janet Jackson, damn.
But once it started getting into the mid 2000s, it was like very liability. Like for instance, like a classic radio thing is April Fools. Call up. You can have a chance to win a pair of breasts, and you get you get a breast of chicken, right?
Oh man, a breast.
Chicken breast. Now
That's hilarious.
you could never do that
You
because
could never do that.
I can guarantee you somebody has sued.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you somebody won money because it wasn't stipulated in writing what they're winning.
You know what I mean? Some breasts.
Right. I mean, it's you would be
man.
surprised the things that people can sue over and litigate over, and stuff that we can't do, and ways that we have to do things, and things we have to disclose.
Oh, I believe it.
I mean, it's a trip. It's a trip. So yeah, it was definitely a different show. But yeah, man, I even think that might have been before I got written. That might have been like 2005 when he left.
Memories.
Yeah.
Memories. Why did you guys change the name from 90.9 to 90.5?
Long story short, there was a or do you want the long story?
You can tell it how you want it.
So I'll give you the long story. Like you'll probably notice if you go to another market, there might be another 93.5 station.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just you can broadcast on a certain frequency within a certain radius.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why, and there's a great website, www.radio/locator.com, and you can pull up. So like our station is like 19,000 watts, I think, and it mainly covers Wichita because that's really what we do, right?
Yeah.
So there was a station that wanted to upgrade their signal that was in like Kingman or something like that, and they were on 93.9. And so in order for them to upgrade, we had to change ours because it would bleed into
Makes sense.
like you would turn on 93.9 and you'd be hearing Christian music, or
Yeah.
in Kingman you'd be hearing Lil Wayne on the Christian station.
Yeah,
you know
they
what I
be
mean?
Those are the
Man,
worst
boy.
combinations.
And so we were like, okay, if you want us to change to 93.5, and they got to send it to them. Now, this is not like a week or a month thing. This has been going on for a couple of years, like back and forth, back and forth. And we basically were like, well, if you pay for everything, we'll change it.
Okay.
And we're talking like, million.
Money.
You know what I mean? Because we're talking
Money.
everything down to the, business cards. Like, you know what I mean?
Facts.
And they were syndicated like a Way FM that were national, and they were like, cool, cut the check. And we're like, shit. So we had to change our frequency. It was we learned a lot. I'd never been a part of that. I pray I never have to again. 'Cause
Man.
it was hell.
It was?
It was hell. I mean, and so just not on that, but imagine everything has to change.
Word.
Everything.
Like you said, all the way
Twitter,
down to the business
yeah,
card.
you
man.
have to call Facebook, you have to call Twitter. So that also means you have to get verification on all that. I mean, it goes to
Yeah.
you have to change emails. Everything had to be changed. And then also, I'm the guy who does the audio, the imaging. So at midnight,
didn't
I'm
know
the
that.
person there
I didn't
switching
know that.
all the audio. Like I switched as much as I can, like after the morning show was done, but just to make sure, I'm the guy who's there at midnight, dubbing in everything. Like
Royce, you work your ass off.
to make sure it comes and goes. It's peaks and valleys. There's times where we don't have too much going on. There's times where there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
But that's
part of
that's
the
why
game.
we're in it.
Yeah, that's
Like, you
part
know
of
what I
the
mean?
game. Yeah.
We're in it to do it.
Royce, who do you listen to? What type of music do you vibe out to? When you riding around or something like that.
I listen to a lot of hip hop. A lot of Drake. Drake's my man. Like
Yeah.
I'm a Drake fan.
Light skinned brothers, we
I'm
represent.
I'm a Drake fan. I like a lot of underground hip hop too, and when I say underground hip hop, stuff that I kind of grew up with. Because here's the irony: right before I got into radio, I never listened to radio. So I was listening to a lot of stuff like, let me see, like a lot of rhyme sayers, a lot of stuff out of the Bay. Planet Asia, like who are the guys, like Freestyle Fellowship?
Oh, you going for real underground?
Yeah, like I was like the Grouch, like all those, like I was underground, like
Yeah,
that,
very underground.
and like b-boying, breakdancing.
You
like,
would hear a
it
beat
was-
instantly. They'd be like, "Oh, check this out." And it's something mainstream. You be like, "I don't want to hear that shit."
Yeah, I mean, it was like that. Like I had to like I remember when I started at 107.9, they're like, "Man, that new D4L, you remember when so and so?" And I'm like, I have no idea who that is. Like, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know. Because that's what they're literally
facts.
Laffy Taffy's like one of the top records in the urban radio format, and they're
Yeah.
like, "You don't know it?" And I'm like,
No.
"Who is it?"
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
You play that doom. Royce is like, "What?"
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go out to clubs.
Everybody's shoulders moving and shit. Royce is like,
Everybody,
having a good time.
There was a good 4 or 5 year period where I never really went out to clubs because it was like,
It wasn't- yeah.
no, it's
Because
like,
the music was
right,
just
'cause-
not there for you.
yeah, because that was kind of like, we were kind of hip hop. Like we were like, graffiti, b-boying, DJing, MCing. That's kind of who I was
Yeah,
around.
Yeah.
So
You ever jump into the b-boy game?
Yeah.
Was you
Well,
ever-
like I said, I mean, and I can, I mean, we had a crew, and this was just recent. I kind of stopped around 07. I hurt my shoulder, 07. But I mean, we used to travel, Chicago,
Damn.
tournaments.
Y'all was doing this recently then.
Yeah,
You said
in the
07.
last 10 years
That's-
ago. When I
yeah,
kind of
that's-
started.
that's
And,
amazing.
and there's
Yeah,
still,
that's
still
dope.
a lot of
That's dope.
b-boy pattern, a lot of the kids, coming up. But yeah, man, I mean, we used to really be into it. Like, been out to LA twice for a thing called Freestyle Session.
Damn.
Austin, Houston. I mean, we used to get it in. Like, and I'm not talking like practice. We used to train. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was
So
like,
it was like
serious.
you got
Yeah.
served like
like honestly, like a lot of the people that were at the events and you got served, or were in the movie were at the events.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
that was almost kind of cornball to us because we were like,
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Because it was an imitation, like, of what y'all were actually doing. Yeah.
Right.
That's hilarious.
But like, I hear the name Lil
Do this
Saint,
Lil
and
Saint,
I'm never forget
exactly.
that shit. And once again, like we didn't know, like B2K. Okay, is this is a group?
Like,
you know what I mean?
Omarion, step out if you want to. I'll crush your ass.
Like, cause we had just kind of heard of them, but it's like, it's like, whatever. But yeah, man, like we were deep into b-boying. So when I first started DJing, like that's what we were b-boying and DJing. And so, like, we would have little events and, like, DJ, like, all the old break beats and all that shit, man. Yeah.
Who do you listen to locally?
Honestly, I listen to a little bit of everybody, mainly because being online.
Whoever you get put on.
Yeah, and I try to, like, even on Facebook, if I see something, like, I try to at least listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I listen to a little bit of everybody.
Dope.
There's some just some of the crews that come to mind. There's a crew called Rosie, Black Rose. There's a group of kids.
Heard
that production and some of the people they work with. And of course, like all the Buckhead stuff. I try to make sure I keep on top of that. Of course, XV. Plainview Kit, he's interesting to me. Like that's one of them people I've always been like
This
very
is
kind
the
of
second episode where your name has come up, buddy.
Yeah.
Pull up on this.
I mean he's
Plainview's our guy.
yeah.
Low key, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's definitely very interesting in the stuff he's doing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I'm,
I like
I'm,
Plainview.
I'm liking. And we've had some lunch a couple times. Good dude.
XV seems like he's kind of hard to get a hold of. He's the
XV's underground. XV does nothing by chance. Everything is plotted.
He's very well calculated.
Yeah, very well calculated. But yeah, man, I try to listen to everybody, and we have a thing called Saturday Night Showcase. So I may listen to something there, and then listen to a little more Big Sam.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to
Aftermore?
Have you had a chance to listen to YBM Smooth's new
YBM Smooth, this Wichita Savage University. I've listened to it once all the way through. Just check it out. I haven't had time to really spend time with it.
He did his thing on that. Real good album.
It sounded great from the time I listened to it just all the way through when he dropped it.
Yeah.
But yeah, all them like the YBM Smooth, all the YBM guys. Like I'm in, because I remember YBM Smooth
nice
from the fucked up days.
I'm trying to give.
Like you know what I mean?
He was running back there.
And then we can go back a little bit, like even. Some of the people who I came up with, like people like DJ Hard, Flatland Brigade, Supreme Unaltered.
These are names I don't know.
Royce is such an underground guy.
We're gonna have to bring
He's
him back.
underground for real.
The Noise, sitting on them Twinkies. Like these are 94, 95. Flatland Brigade. There was a guy named DJ Kool-Aid. So here's another great story. So when I was wanting to get into DJing, I kind of knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. Best Buy had just opened. Got a belt-driven turntable. You know what I mean? Like the kind that you had to pull backwards and then go like that for it to turn. Well, those are the worst fucking ones you got because you need direct drive to have the weight. You want the motor, but I didn't know that. So. I got my turntables, and they used to have parties. Back then, it was so different. This is in '95. You could rent out hotel ballrooms back then and have hip hop parties. That was before they were like, no.
They started canceling all that.
And back then, there was a guy named DJ Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid and a guy named Rob Wonder, who went by Boy Wonder back then. But Rob Wonder has the shirt printing thing. You'll probably see him on Facebook.
Okay.
They were kind of the only game in town because you needed vinyl back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you had to order it. Because Music and More had some. And that was when Justice Fashions was on 13th Street, and they had some. But if you really wanted to get the up-and-coming things, you had to order it. So you could order it from Music Factory or Fat Beats or Beat Street Records in Brooklyn. Right? So that's where I got, like, a lot of my records have, like, Music Factory, you know what I mean? So DJ Kool-Aid was DJing, and it was at I'll never forget this, Clarion Hotel in 1995. And they would stop and play Planet Rock and let people break dance and shit like that. I mean, it was, but then also it was a different vibe because, we're all jamming, and then they would play like Raekwon Ice Cream, and like the chicks were dancing, whatever, all the dudes. I mean, it was just totally.
It's lit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
Y'all had the
totally
functions.
different vibe. And so afterwards, I went up to DJ Kool-Aid, and he had like dreads at the time, and they were all like Muslim, camo, hoodies up, like, and I'm like, excuse me, and I was like, I want to learn how to DJ, and, I've been wanting to do it, and he's like, well, I usually don't, because he had probably heard a lot, learn, and he goes, and I don't let people learn on my turntables, and I go, well, I got my own turntables, and he went, come by Saturday.
Hey,
And that's how I started. And that was at 1521 North Bell Road.
Dope.
Remember it all.
Like that, but that was
This
how
man has
that's how
great
much
memory.
it meant to
Amazing
me. You know what I mean? And that's where they all hung out.
Yeah.
So like DJ 3, he was part of the and that's when he was.
shout out to DJ 3.
That's when he
We
was
do need to link up with you.
MC3. Like 3, somebody you need to have on it. Like he has some great history stories, and even now. But yeah, man, there are a lot of people. So like Bloody Hands.
Yeah.
Somebody will say, hey man, Bloody Hands? I'm like, Sean, because I go before the Muslim man. Like, you know what I mean? Like people call him, so Bilal, like all those dudes when they were just like 20, 21, 22, and I was 15.
That's why you're the legend, man.
So yeah, man, they've got some great stories. They've got some great stories.
That's crazy. So, you're not only a radio personality, you are also an amazing photographer.
Yeah, man.
So, when did you decide to pick up the camera? When did that all happen?
Well, that kind of happened with kind of the same thing. Like that's the only thing I was really good at. Like in high school, whether it be on the yearbook staff and all that. That was something that was really important to me growing up. Like my mom, like photo albums, taking pictures. Like you may not have a lot of money, but damn it, you can take a picture and have fucking memories.
Forever.
Like you know what I mean?
Everybody's family member had those books of photo albums just stacked
Right.
4 or 5 of them.
And straight, like if there was a fire in my house right now,
We're going to save the pictures.
like everything else can go.
Yeah.
Everything else can go. Like those pictures,
So
like
many
that.
memories.
Yeah. And I'd always look through them, and my mom had some photo books and everything from photographers. So I was always into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the classes I had in like junior high and high school, they let us do it. And then I kind of got back into it again. I had like peaks and valleys because at Butler you had to take photography as part of the mass comm. And it was still
Okay.
darkroom stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so
darkroom.
I loved all that. So that's what I use. Maybe 1 out of 100 of those pictures that I post are digital. It's all
Oh,
film.
wow.
Wow.
And so I still got I do the chemicals at home,
Yeah.
scan them and all that.
Oh, man.
So, but it
I would love to learn
clears
that,
the
though.
mind, man. It's like because
Yeah.
it's kind of like a meditative process because you can't be worried about anything going on. You have to be focused. You got to
Word.
know your settings. Like that's what you're focused on.
You're free.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
that.
It's like
Yeah.
you can create
You
whatever
are
want.
literally in the moment.
How do you find all those crazy locations? Like you find some very good photos. Is it just kind of like by chance, or do you ever just go out and say, "Oh, I saw this earlier, and I want to go take a look"?
A little bit of both, and like you'll start seeing things like you'll just be like you'll see something that is just like what.
Like, what is that? That's not
Like,
dope.
you know what I mean? Or or I'll see something like a sign that's just kind of like, or just like with people, you'll like Riverfest, you'll be walking, I'll be walking, and then you'll just see something just totally absurd,
Yeah.
and then and half the time is getting it, and you just walk by and pop, and you keep on walking,
Facts.
like you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
facts.
But a lot of them like you'll just find little places, yeah.
Are you the camera guy? My brother 4 times, he takes his camera practically everywhere he goes.
Try to.
Are you one of those?
Most of the time I am. Most of the time. I always have, like, this is one of the few times I don't have one on me. Like, even at work, I carry, like, a little, like, 35 millimeter point and shoot camera that's half the size of that phone that you would
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, most of the time, I have it on me.
Okay.
And I've been trying to do, I wish I would have had it more on me and taken more pictures, like, coming up, going to the shows. So that's something I started doing,
Yeah.
like, whenever I do go out, the few times I do go out, it's just kind of documenting the scene and
Yeah.
what's going on, so.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dope.
That's what's up.
Dope. Real quick, let me ask you this. All right, so when it comes to music and recording, you can tell the difference in analog and digital, right? So is it the same way with film?
I think it's easier with film. Like you can tell the difference between analog and digital, but I mean, if you were to give me two versions of a song, and you'd be like, one is totally analog, one is totally digital, I probably wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Okay.
especially after if it's played on the radio, by the time it gets compressed through the station programming, the tower like compressor,
Yeah.
you'll never be able to tell.
Yeah.
Real.
But with pictures, there's just like a density. And I don't even know how to explain it. Like there's just something
You just see it. It's just
It's like
little-
the difference between a
Yeah.
67 Chevy versus a 2018
yeah.
Chevy.
There's and sometimes there's great emulations and everything, but that's when I started really kind of getting back into film because I had a digital camera and was taking pictures a little more, and I like had all the visco filters, and I'd be like, oh man, I like the film emulations. I'm like, well, fuck it, I might as well just
Stick with film.
stick with film. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Film emulations or
Right.
film. So, I
And
dig
it's
it.
a lot cheaper than you really think. And how I do it is even down to the like I hand roll it, so I get it in rolls of 100 feet,
Oh wow.
and I got the cartridges, and I
Roll
Cut it.
clip.
Do it again.
So it ends up being about $1.50 per roll.
That's a passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Because if not, it'd be $5 per roll. Last year I shot 200 rolls. So
Oh man, I know
You-
you saved the arm and
you
the
know what I mean?
Oh, man.
like you know what I mean? Like you're literally saving
Yeah.
thousands.
Yeah.
And then with the chemicals, like the chemicals, you can get about 40 rolls.
You can stretch it a little bit.
25 to 30 rolls at a time, right?
Okay.
Well, no, fuck that. Actually, probably about 60 with the full
Okay.
bottle of
I- I'm
developer.
full John. Yeah.
And the bottle of developer costs $20.
Okay.
So that's 60,
So,
you know.
yeah.
And with the fixture, that's about another $15. So developing 200 rolls may cost less than $100.
Yeah.
So that's $350 film and developed.
Yeah.
Come on, man, you can't beat that.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
You can't beat that.
Or is it,
Working on the dark room now. I'm gonna start making prints here.
let's do it.
Man, you already got somebody over here that's passionate about.
Working on the prints
Working on
here.
camera.
Pretty
Yeah,
soon.
man. Like I'm just passionate about creation, man. Like like I just love the process of creation, whether it be music, film,
Yeah.
movies, anything, man. Cooking, just creation all together, man. It's beautiful.
And it's really all about failure because, like, you see the good ones, but
Yeah.
that might be one per roll. That might be
Yeah,
one out of
facts.
36.
Facts.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've
Facts.
shot 200, or I shot 200 rolls, but
This one just happened to be in the perfect
yeah,
moment.
this is the one that made it. Right.
I feel
and,
that.
And like I've got like, you know, maybe a roll of film. Like I went to the parade in Delano.
Okay.
Like, and I'll sit there and use a whole roll just on one thing, and then when I got it, I know it, and then I'll move on. But you know, you don't see the 35 of, you know, this.
try to say, nah, that one didn't look good.
You know,
Try
and then
to-
you see the right one,
Yeah.
then you're like, okay.
You don't see the ones that didn't make. You don't see the fuck ups or the oops.
Right.
or the-
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my! It was kind of. It was
Get
kinda
out the
extra.
way, man.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Damn! I left the lens on.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be my first day. I ain't kidding. Smile.
Like,
I'm not
or if you
seeing
forgot
nothing.
the things, like you'll see one frame is like totally whited out because I left the damn, you know, aperture
Yeah.
open too much. I'm
Yeah.
like, shit.
That-
You know what I mean? You know
That
what I
was
mean?
all my first
Right.
day, man.
So yeah.
Word. Okay, so kind of going a little bit off the photography for a second. We were talking about local artists, you know, YBM Smooth, Big Sam, Oddrix, Heavy, all these different artists. What do you think it would take to get more local artists on the radio?
That's a tough question. that's a tough question. It's hard. It's hard. Ultimately, the reality is, and this is gonna be one of them answers that's gonna have more questions, and I gotta answer it long. The average radio station, what you choose last week? The average radio station averages 3 open spots per week, right?
Okay.
So after we do the rotations, after everything, you know, see what's dropping in, the average week is 3 songs. Last week, Drake and The Weeknd came out with new music.
Right.
1, 2.
Gone.
gone.
One of y'all getting played twice, but other than that,
Right, gone.
Okay.
So now we have one spot open. Now we haven't listened to the 2 records that RCA sent, the 2 records that Interscope sent, the 2 records that Columbia sent, the 2 records that Glassnode sent, the 2 records that Def Jam spent, the 2 records that Island sent. You know what I mean? It's like
There's a lot more that you have to go through.
with people who are verified even if they suck, even if they're not selling,
They have this behind them.
and they didn't get signed because they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It makes sense.
So we got that reality going on. So it's tough because at the end of the day, we want people to keep listening. We want people to listen to what's familiar,
Facts.
right?
Yeah.
And in this day and age, it's almost even harder because radio is not breaking anything. And I'll even go as far as this. Radio, and people might disagree with me on this one, and DJs really aren't breaking music anymore.
Do you think that they have the potential to break them again? Because I agree with you wholeheartedly. I believe now social media does it.
They have the potential, but the game is so competitive. If I see an artist who has 20 million views, I'm not taking that risk. Because at the end of the day, it's about listenership. We don't want people to turn that dial because the research shows when people don't hear stuff familiar, they click.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so next,
when they turn that dial, that affects our pocketbook.
Okay.
Word.
You know what I mean? So even if it's 3 minutes, because also the average listener listens less than 15 minutes at a time. That's why we love when people say, man, why you play the same 10 songs in a row? That means you're listening for a long time.
That's the truth. You listen to all 10 of those songs.
Right? That's music to artists. And that also tells us you know our brand. If our positioning statement is in your head like that, we've done our job at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean? That would be like
That's a fact.
that would be
That's
like
a
me
fact.
going into McDonald's and saying, why the hell you loving it all the time?
Y'all are some
like you eat here all the time.
Yeah,
you know
you-
the menu. So we got that reality going on.
Okay.
And ultimately what it is it's never been more competitive now because we aren't looking to, if there is a slot open, which might happen at the most twice a year, right? Especially around like the holidays when the record labels go down for 2 weeks and then we're like, okay, we know this isn't working, this is dropping, so we might have one slot where it's like, what do we do? And then like that's how Big Sam got on. But if we can see, because then also you got to realize all the metrics that we get: sales, downloads, streams, national charts, everything,
Yeah.
radio plays. So we can also see something that's bubbling up that maybe might be regional or something like that. That we can be like, okay, this is bubbling up. So we are looking to social media probably more than anybody is to see what's coming up next and what's hot.
To see
Trying to
next.
find
Right.
that next big.
Because nobody listens to stuff they don't like. Shazam, we can check out Shazam numbers.
True.
In Wichita,
True.
like fuck Nashville. Like we don't care what New York City's playing.
Yeah.
Like,
Wichita.
so a prime example of that, a great example is Young M.A.
Okay.
Like, okay, it's getting played in New York, but then all of a sudden, it starts streaming like hell in Wichita. It's moving up the charts. It's making noise all over the country.
We need to play it.
We have nothing to lose if we do,
Word.
because people know it. People are reacting to it.
Yeah.
Excuse me for a second.
Oh yeah, people are reacting to it, and it's a hedged bet
Yeah.
that we can be like, boom,
Word.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And we do call out research.
Yeah. Because I noticed that you guys, I don't know how long ago this was. You guys started, I believe it might be Friday or Saturday. You play a local artist.
Saturday Night Showcase, and that was kind of the help.
Yeah.
Kind of the help, just to kind of give some love to the local talent.
Yeah.
Because hey, don't get me wrong, I know it's frustrating as hell.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Hey, what's up, man? I know it's frustrating as hell,
Right.
but
It's because because honestly, you guys are trying with that, because like you said, when you broke down what songs you get, from every location, you guys are pushing it just like that once a week. It's kind of like you guys are making sure that one slot at least is given to.
And I think one of the biggest I think this is kind of in my opinion, a hip hop problem, or a rap problem, or urban music problem, whatever you want to call it.
So many titles.
Right. That's a whole nother discussion. Is there's more product than demand. So we've done a Saturday night showcase for 3-4 years maybe. I think I've maybe had to repeat somebody a dozen times.
Damn.
Yeah. And never more than 2 weeks in a row. So out of a year, 52 weeks, 50 of those are different people.
Yeah.
That's a lot. 50. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people getting put on.
And those are the ones that get on
Yeah.
there. So I'm guessing there's at least another minimum 50 more who are making music, who haven't sent something, who don't know about it, who are like, fuck the radio. That, you know what I mean? So there's more product than demand. You go to shows and you see people, because at the end of the day, do you guys make music?
Yeah.
Do you make music? But you know what? You do a podcast, so in a sense, you're part of the scene.
Yeah.
You are one of the contributors to the scene. You go to Rock Island to a show, 80% of the people there make music, make beats, for the scene, videographers, photographers, radio people, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're performing for
Yeah.
the performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's not a that's not
benefiting.
an environment that's going to benefit anybody.
No, that's not benefiting me.
So
at all.
that's another kind of layer that I kind of think is a.
So are we still talking about why local artists aren't on the radio
Yeah.
as much? Okay.
Well, actually, I kind of get off. That's not one of the reasons, but the main three reasons is that it's competitive as hell, and the reality is you're competing not against other little local artists. You're competing against Drake.
You're competing against the heavyweights.
You're competing against
Drake.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even say no other names.
Kendrick
Just Drake.
Lamar.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we have 4 spots open and a Kendrick Lamar single drops, goddamn it, we're playing Kendrick.
Kendrick sends this new track off of Black Panther, and
Right.
we talked about playing this local artist. Well, who you think is going to get played? That new Kendrick
Right.
that just dropped.
So let me ask you this real quick. All right, so let's say Atlantic sends you something from their newest artist. You don't like it. You don't like it at all. Nobody at the station likes it. Do y'all play it?
Yeah. I mean, there's
So they're like, duh.
There's songs on it. Zed, The Middle, I fucking hate that song.
Thank you.
But you know what?
You
That
still gotta
song
play
is
it.
one of the number one Shazamming songs in the market. And it's selling like hell.
Yeah.
And I'm talking sales, not streams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sales.
So
People want to buy that.
And let's get to the reality too. It's Zed, The Middle, and it's selling. That means we're not buying it. Motherfuckers in Andover and Goddard are buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, reality is they're the ones who fill out the books.
Right.
So
Yeah.
guess what? We got to
didn't
take
know
a bite
that.
of the shit sandwich,
know that.
and we got
We're
to
gonna press
play
play
some
on
Zed.
that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, hey,
Yeah.
So if I got to sit for 3 minutes and listen to it, hey, it is what it
Put
is.
your
So
headphones
be it.
in for
I mean, there's always songs that we have to play, and there might be a song that I love and Greg's like, I don't know, and then there might be a song that Greg loves and I'm like, I don't know. And you know what? 50% of the time it tanks, and 50% of the time it might be a number one record.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's
You
just
ever been in a situation where it's like, yo, we need to play this song, Everybody's like, Royce, no, nobody's playing that song. And then like a few weeks later, it's the number one song or something.
there's been a couple ones where I'm like, dude, this is gonna be big, and then it may be
Yeah.
probably the last one where I was like, dude, this is a good song. It's gonna be was Miguel Skywalker.
Okay.
And you knew it was
Okay.
this was going.
I mean, I just liked it, and I'm like, dude, if everything works out right, this could be number one. It took a while because
did the
it
snowball
took
thing.
a while to get some growing on the radio charts.
Yeah.
Now on the flip side, Ray Shrummer after what was the one where they did the mannequin challenge? What song was that?
What song was that? With
Black
the
Beatles.
Yeah,
Black
thank you.
Beatles. So the second single was Swang. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, this
yeah,
is the next one. This is
yeah.
gonna be a smash.
It
It didn't do shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure,
I was like,
okay,
and I
yeah.
still like it. And I kept telling him, like, Look Alive was another one. Like, because that came out before Black Beatles. I was like, dude, this is a good single. Look Alive. Like, it didn't do anything. Because I even told him, I told the rep at Interscope, you need to re-release it after Black Beatles did so big, but they never did. They didn't listen.
Yeah, don't listen to the guy with with all the back history with
You know what I mean?
Don't-
Because they're already like, been there, done that, we're moving on. Like,
Word.
Yeah,
you know,
Word.
Gucci Gang, fucking hate it.
I was gonna ask you about that show too.
You know what I mean? But how
Gucci
how
Gang,
can
Gucci
you
Gang,
deny
Gucci
it?
Gang,
You know,
Gucci
at the,
Gang.
How can you not
Gucci
dance
Gang,
to that
Gucci
song?
Gang.
and
That
you
song
know,
is-
and hey, that's one of the realities too. Because also here's a great thing that a lot of people don't know. Well, radio, it's all about the hook,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what we test our records on. So like, love Jay-Z, love Kanye West. When Otis came out, we're like, this is dead in the water.
That's not the one. That's not the one.
Because it was a freestyle. It's
Yeah.
nothing but there was no hook.
Yeah.
And it didn't do anything. Gucci Gang is nothing but a hook.
Nothing but.
So, you know,
It works. It works. in different ways.
that's what you're gonna remember.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well, Royce, what is next for you personally? You know, what are you working on that is taking up a little bit of time? What's the future looking like? 2018.
You know what? Hell, I don't know. I mean, I'm always working on something. I mean, I don't really. I kind of worry about the future, but I don't worry about the future. You know what I mean?
Word.
It's just one of the things where it's like, it's all about the here and now.
Word.
I like it.
We just gonna live every day. That's how we gonna do it.
Because then also, I mean, hell, I might walk into the radio Monday and they're like, you're gone.
And we'll be outside protesting Tuesday.
You know what I mean? But it's like,
protesting.
bring up
You pull up to the
Royce.
podcast, man.
you know, I mean, so it's like that's and it's not that cutthroat anymore. But I've also seen in this business, I've seen and heard stories of like, while you're in there, and they have to be like this. You'll be there interviewing for a job,
Yeah.
while the person who you'll be taking is on air. You're listening to them on the air. They will say, "Hey, this is my cousin, you know, from Atlanta. He's just here visiting. Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you." And they don't know that
That's the one coming.
you just interviewed for their job.
Damn.
That's radio.
Well, bro,
That's radio.
if come Monday,
That's right.
because you just said on the radio, I'm out. I'll holler at y'all on Monday. So if come Monday, if they let
So
you
I'll
go,
be there Monday. It might be Tuesday.
hey,
Yeah.
if they let you go, you got a spot on Point Proven. You can be
Okay.
you can be the
Okay.
third host. So, but we're not gonna take too much of your time.
I mean, hey, it's
I
no rush.
appreciate
It's
you
no
coming through. We skimmed through all the questions that I had for you. Is there anything else that you might want to promote? You know, promote yourself to have people take a look at your photos. Where can they find you? Anything like that?
You can find me on Facebook, Royce Stevenson, RoyceStevenson.com. That's where I have a lot of photos. On the Instagram, it's Double R the Superstar, which one of my old.
Sound like you was about to be an R&B singer.
Double R the superstar.
Oh,
Double
yeah.
R the superstar.
It's
So-
about to take R. Kelly's spot.
I don't know if you guys remember, there was a show called on 107.9 called The Trap. It was on Friday nights.
The Trap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was you know, 3 dope boys in a trap, and it actually started before me, but then when I came, I was on it, and it was like it was almost kind of a precursor podcast. It was long 3 to 4 minute segments at night that was played from
Y'all remember that? I remember some
either
of
10 to
the segments.
midnight or like 9 to midnight.
Yeah.
And I mean, we would go and it was all pre-recorded, because I mean, we would have like Crown of Coke, like we'd be drinking, like, you know what I mean? And we would play some of the local talent. That's when we would put some of the local people in, like the Association, Dream Team.
Yeah.
We would play some of that. And Star and Buckwild. Do you guys know who Star is off Complex now?
Yeah.
So his old radio show, like he was radio legend. He was
Yeah.
gangster. Like, you think Charlemagne's great?
No, Star was
Star is the original.
Star was next level.
Yeah, Star had people
Yeah.
lining up at the radio station ready to fight him.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so their intros, he would be like, "Hey, what's up? It's Star, aka so and so, aka," and they would go around and they would be like, "It's so and so, aka." So
Don't that sound familiar?
So that's
Go back
why
and
I
listen
like
to I
Todd.
Feel Like Jody.
yeah. So that's why I like Todd. Todd was Todd Reynolds, aka T.O. Double, aka so and so. Playmaker was like aka Play Mayweather, aka something.
Yo.
So mine was Rolls Royce, aka the number one choice. That's where that started. Aka Double R, the superstar, aka Hector with the pocket protector.
Hector with
Hector.
the pocket
They go
protector.
hard.
That's what. So those were my AKs. So yeah, that's one of
Y'all
those.
had
that,
y'all
like,
DJ raps on point, man.
yeah, man. Like 107, man. That was a special. That was a special time, and plus it was independently owned.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, you got to learn everything. Like if the transmitter went down, I'd roll up there, dial in the transmitter, and then go back home. Like you know
Oh
what I mean?
man, that sounds
Yeah.
crazy.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
to 107, man.
It's good. Maybe we'll have another one again, but I doubt it.
Nah.
I doubt it.
Nah.
I doubt it.
Y'all got the reins and y'all not letting up.
Well, it's tough. I mean, ultimately, one of the things with Wichita is like the demographics.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, not to get too deep into it, but you know, when you're an urban station, sometimes saying urban is the worst thing to say.
Yeah, it's like you limit yourself almost.
I was gonna ask you about that, too.
They instantly like, oh, that's the black radio station.
Yeah, I heard that you
we'll
get
send
your
Migos and all
budget
that.
cut a certain certain way for
Oh yeah.
for the urban stations as
it's-
opposed to the pop or classic stations.
So here's a great, because at one point, 107.9 and Power damn near had the same playlist. But they can say, oh, we're a top 40 rhythmic station, because technically that's what we are, top 40 rhythmic. What does that mean? We're an urban station for white people.
I love that.
Urban station for
I
white
like that
people.
because I mean, truth be told, it's the
And,
truth.
but that you can
Yeah,
sell that.
yeah,
Because
facts.
when you say urban, I mean, and these are just the realities.
white people look away. They
Right.
instantly draw back.
And so do advertisers. And unfortunately, even some of the big advertisers in this city didn't advertise.
they
on
think
107.9.
Hitman finna pull up like Suge Knight. or
See, but
something.
that's confusing in a sense though because
That's a lot of the politics too.
Hitman's pulling up like Suge Knight.
Yeah, that's what they think. If they
Taking somebody
said,
over the
"Yo,
balcony."
this is Power 93.5, your number one urban station in Wichita," they instantly gonna think that Hitman has some dreads. He probably big as
That's a
Suge
fact.
Knight, and he's pulling up with the 9 or whatever for the meeting.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I
But-
mean, it's. I've been at remotes like out in some of the suburbs, and parents will be like, "Oh yeah, you're the hip hop station." We're like, technically no, you know what I mean? But
y'all are the hip hop station of Wichita, man, and I love it.
But what's sad is,
Something has to do with TV.
especially now, whatever you define hip hop as, like some of the stuff that I hear on there, I wouldn't define it as hip hop.
I define it as. All right, I don't
So-
think I can really say how I define it.
50% of the stuff we play isn't
hip-hop.
even hip hop. Like Kendrick, J. Cole, hell, half the stuff Drake puts out, I wouldn't technically categorize. If you're singing, see, I'm a hip hop dude. If you're
God's plan.
See, like I feel like it's a lot of pop
that's
with
kind of
rap
like
in it.
the
You're right in the middle. It's-
right,
yeah.
right. But like, how can you say, One Dance is a hip hop song? The
Nope.
fuck? Like, you know what I mean? It's like that's not like it's like
I
what?
sure
No.
will turn on this Kendrick
No.
DNA real quick.
Right. And I love Drake, but that's not a hip hop song. So, and I think sometimes it is also, I don't want to say guilt by association, because you got to remember 10 years ago, even maybe more than that, what was selling?
Yeah.
Like the Nellies, the Lil Waynes, like that was the top selling music.
Yeah.
Because if you notice when Afrojack, like
Damn.
DJ, whatever,
Names,
Halsey, started popping, we played that.
Yeah.
Like, because at the end of the day, we're top 40. Like, the top 40 songs getting played
Yeah.
that ain't country, that ain't rock.
What you getting?
That's what we're getting. Hell, we played Taylor Swift.
Oh,
Yep.
Bad Blood at one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, y'all played that.
You know what I mean? With Kendrick on it.
With the
but,
Kendrick version.
But still, it's Taylor Swift. Like, it was too big
You
for
know
us
what?
not to play.
You had a version of Big Sean's Bounce Back. I couldn't stand that song, but you played the dopest version of that song.
Oh, and
You know which one I'm talking about, because it's like some
Yeah.
additional drums in it. I can't
Yeah.
think of what song the sample is from, but
Yeah,
it's the best version ever, man.
And like, we'll do that. Like, if it's like an Adele song, I forgot which one, like Rolling in the Deep or one of those.
Oh no, she had the.
It was a rhythmic mix
yeah.
that had more of a backbeat.
More
to
the
it.
BPM
Yeah.
with the beat to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Royce kills it, man. Royce
So
kills it.
that's the sort of stuff that we have to do
Word.
in order for it to be palatable. So we can play it, because some of the records are too big not to play. So going back to the advertising thing, like, it is one of those things where, well, 107.9, I mean, like, you would go places and they'd just be like, oh, the hip hop station, you know, which hip hop in this town, for better or for worse, means black.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
I was
I'll
say
say some of the
the
stuff
other
that,
word, but we're gonna leave
right.
it black.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, black has negative connotations.
Of
in
course,
this
of
town.
course.
You know, whether that be good, bad, or indifferent.
Truth.
So,
True.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, that's one of the politics too that we have to deal with, even with our shows. You know, at Interest Bank. Here's a great story for you. I will tell
You got
you,
the Royce stories.
and I can't name the news channel, but I will tell you how. Well, for lack of a better word, some of the racism is with even having a station like us, considering how we're the hip hop station, which
Yeah.
means we're the station for the black people.
Yeah.
So we did our very first Powerhouse Jam, Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
Right? We were kind of, we were like uncharted territory, no hip hop shows.
This was the first hip hop
First one.
for interest. Yeah.
First one. So we're like, we can't have any problems. One of the proudest moments in my life was as it was ending, looking around, watching people leave. No fights,
Nothing.
no problems, no issues.
Y'all know that had to feel good.
The
My
next
people was on
morning,
their best behavior.
the next morning, I get up. I'm watching. I was about to say that. I was about to say I'm watching.
You was about to say who it was too.
But I'm watching one of the local morning news shows, and they're like, the very first hip hop show was last night. Even though it looked like a bad crowd, I'm like, what?
It looked like a
Like a low crowd.
AKA, there was a bunch of niggas that got together.
No, but they were
And-
talking about like the size. Like, it looked like it wasn't a sellout, but there weren't any problems. And so I'm like, what? So I call Greg. Greg calls our GM. The GM calls their GM. You know, because
Yeah.
and she's like, what the fuck?
That's bad luck.
Yeah, because they've never done it to anybody else.
Yeah.
Right? When that Monday comes around, every Monday they do a news conference with the police department. Right?
Okay.
And so they're asking questions. And I'm sitting there watching it because we also have a guy from KNSS, our news station, go down there. And he's like, man, listen to this. And so one of the reporters is like, so there was a hip-hop concert at the Interest Bank Arena. They're like, yep. Everything went great. There were no problems. And they were like, no.
None.
No problems, no fights. And the dude, like the captain's like, no.
So are you telling me 2,000 black people got
they asked
together?
3 or 4 times. Like the first hip hop show, there was no problems. And I'm like, what now?
That's
Let's
crazy.
keep it real. And some of them country boy ones, they fight left and fucking right.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. Like that, and that stuff we can't say on
They'll
there. We
never
can't be
admit that.
like, here's some of the fuckery that we're dealing with.
Facts.
We have to kind of swallow that bitter pill, but kind of play the politics on the side.
That's fucked up.
You know, why was there twice as many cops at our show and not one of theirs?
Packed.
Yeah, but that shit you can't talk about.
You know what I
I
mean?
dig
Man.
it. I dig it.
All right. Is 93.5 bringing back the show?
Yeah, because I never got to experience that. So
Hope so. These artists, man, they want too fucking much. They
And-
want way too much.
That's
Way too
let
much.
you do it for the artists in the city, then, man.
They ain't gonna do that.
I'm telling you, listen. I probably should.
I just had a conversation with somebody about this Thursday, 2 days ago. That's tough. That's tough.
It's tough.
That's tough.
Okay.
Wichita doesn't support, bro.
Do you think even if you got like the top 5 acts Do you think they could draw 5,000 people?
No.
Because that would be the minimum to break even.
Because I'm gonna tell you exactly why. On Thursday, me and my wife was at the Kevin Hart show.
Yeah.
We going to the Kevin Hart show.
How packed was that?
Check this. So they have a
So I love my
they have
wife.
a 100. They have a section that's section 100 or whatever, 100 through whatever, and then it's a 200. It's
Right,
it's
the
a higher
second
up.
lever, yeah.
So
They moved everybody
I'm
down, didn't they?
gonna keep it 100 with you. Me and the wife, we had the 200 something section
Right.
seats. We get
Because they're
there.
probably half price.
Exactly. They tell us, well, actually, he didn't sell out. So we closed down the whole 200 section.
blacked out, wasn't it?
It's blacked out. They got curtains and everything over it.
You giving
And
up the gems.
that's why I said I probably shouldn't say this, but whatever. He said he was coming back for every tour, so I'm gonna say this shit. So
Kevin Hart,
But the reality is, so if you notice, we gave away tickets, and then a week before we started giving them away again because we already knew they weren't selling because the advertisers was like, yo, we got to buy more radio spots. You started seeing more TV spots. We're
Wichita
doing
wasn't
more giveaways.
supporting. And so I know for a fact, if Kevin Hart can't sell out the Interest Bank Arena, then I'm sorry. I don't see.
So do you
the
think he
city
could
doing it.
have, if within literally, what was it, a year or a year and a half, he would have sold out
Century
5,000, Century 2, 4 or 5
2
times.
nights, two shows for 2 nights.
That's right.
Yep.
So it's probably about, what, 5,000-6,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if even half of those,
We're at the Interest.
that would have sold out.
Yeah.
Or at least would have filled up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew something was up because an hour or so before the show, I get on Facebook and I start seeing people selling their tickets. And I'm like, they better not do Kevin like this. It's just
They was
the
selling
city
their
doesn't
tickets?
the city doesn't show love. Another example, me and my brother here. Shout out to Boss Smoke. Me and my
Boss
brother
Smoke always here, man.
always for the interviews. We went to the Big Crit concert. I know you
there.
heard about that.
I was there.
Y'all showed
I
Crit
was,
no
I was
love.
there.
Crit will never come back to Wichita.
I was there.
And I don't blame him one bit. I will have to waste. I'll have to spend the
There
2
was,
hours
there
to go
was
see him
maybe
somewhere else.
200 people in that.
If-
place.
No, no. You're being nice saying 200.
200?
There was maybe 50.
Maybe 50. Come on.
And
Don't
now,
try to play
and
Crit
now
like
remember,
that. Crit can bring
we
more
also
than
did a
50
promotion
people.
where we were giving away tickets for that. I think we gave away 30. So 30 of those people in there were for free. That's not counting the comps. They lost some. That's one of those. Like, everybody wants a hip hop show.
It's so
But nobody
bad.
gonna
Bro,
pull up to the
but
hip
no,
hop
but,
show.
but
Bro,
nobody's
it's
gonna.
messed up though because Crit came and then literally
But you know what? If there was an after party, it would
it'd
be
be
packed
packed.
for $50 a pop.
Yep, it'd be
Just to sit in the club. Like, that's the difference. Now, for our shows, and I can almost bet this for Kevin Hart, Lil Wayne, it was the demographics of the fucking city. 60% of the people in there were Caucasian
believe it.
For the Wayne show?
for the
Yeah.
Wayne show.
Well, yeah. All right. So,
Wayne
what time
crosses
frame
over.
was this? What time frame?
This was
this?
what?
2015.
2015. All right, then. Yeah.
Now, people are like, well, Lil Wayne, he's kind of falling off. I'm like, this dude can do 2 hours of nothing but hits.
Hits.
And you know
What's
what?
the motto? Hits.
Nothing but hits. Next year, Wiz Khalifa had just broke the record for views on YouTube with See You Again, 1 billion.
And had Kevin Gates on the show.
Kevin Gates and Yo Gotti.
And Yo Gotti. Damn.
Was it Trey Songz or Ty Dolla for that one?
Trey Songz and Ty Dolla were Lil Wayne.
Got you.
And Fetty Wap was on there because that was right when he popped off.
Yep, Trap Queen.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
so,
was-
so that was
Wichita,
right.
Wichita was
right
running
when
for
it
these
hit.
shows. They would.
Y'all had it on lockdown.
Yeah, they had the right
This
selection.
time,
They
yeah.
had the right selection.
And that's one of those where it's kind of like, they need to come out a little more because that's another piece of the puzzle. People kind of forget about some of the big ones, like when Plies came to Hartman, or when T.I. was the very first show I was kind of with Power Whip was when T.I. was at the Kansas Coliseum. So that's when we did there.
Damn. I remember I was in the 5th grade and the big show at the time, it was 50 Cent, Busta Rhymes, Tyrese.
Yeah,
Oh,
those,
man,
that-
that had to
those,
be
those days
crazy.
are over.
I
show.
forgot.
Those
But they
days
were
are
but they
over.
were at the Kansas Coliseum. And when I tell you that was probably that was crazy. Like, man.
And to show you the difference.
Wichita had some shows. Hold on, man.
When I was at 107.9, right? About 11 years ago, and I understand he's nowhere close, but DJ Unk had the #1 single in the country.
Now
Walk It Out.
Walk It
out. Yeah.
Getting ready to follow with Two Step that was coming up to be another #1.
You guys air the remix? Were the first ones that aired the remix?
Yeah, yeah.
Woo!
We brought them for a club show. It's $5,000. Right?
That's not bad.
Little Pump, Gucci Gang
25,000.
wants no less than 50 grand.
Damn.
So you have somebody with one single who's not #1, who outside of that, I know he has other things, but if he were to go on stage to the average person would know 5 minutes of his show.
Gucci Gang.
Because he's
That's
gonna
the only
repeat,
thing I'm
he's gonna
doing,
play Gucci Gang back like 2 times.
And he wants 10 times more than somebody who had a #1 single with a second single on the way with an album that just dropped that was top 10 on
That's
charts.
crazy.
That's 10 years difference.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
crazy.
that's Lil Pump. Imagine how much Migos.
I was just finna ask
Imagine
you.
how much Post Malone.
I was just gonna ask you what would it be to get a Drake? What would it be like to get Drake here?
Drake don't do radio shows.
So like, are you just saying that, or
y'all would have to
is-
personally bring Drake.
No, I'm serious. Drake, Kendrick, like a lot of these people, they don't do radio shows. Because also, I get it, but as an artist, would you rather make 100 grand from a radio show, or would you rather book your own tour? You make all the ticket sales, and you get to sell your merch out there. And here's another piece of puzzle that people don't understand. A lot of these major artists are making deals with Live Nation.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll say, hey, we got you a 20-date tour, the production and everything. So really all you're paying is for the venue at that point.
Yeah.
And you get to keep, half of the ticket sales, and you can sell your own merch,
That makes sense.
which they're selling in the millions,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
That's where that money coming in.
So each show, we'll just do some quick numbers here. Like, let's say...
He finna break
Y'all
it
love
down
this.
for us real
We'll,
quick.
we'll do some quick numbers, okay? Let's say Intrust Bank Arena holds 13,000 people. Actually, fuck that. We'll keep it regular. We'll keep it on the Deca system. 10,000 people with
10,000 people.
right with the stage and everything. So that's how
Yeah.
much the stage can fit up. So we'll divide that by 2. That's how much. Let's say if Drake came, he was coming. Minimum tickets would probably be $50. Wait, 5,000. You're talking about 250 grand. That's off half that you get pocket.
Yeah.
That's minimum.
God. And that's still.
That's not
still
selling a
cutting-
T-shirt. T-shirts are $50 fucking dollars. Why would I do a radio show for 75 grand or 100 grand?
Money.
That's the reality. Because if you notice, outside of LA, Atlanta, Chicago, major markets, you don't see any radio shows anymore. And also it benefits them to do it. Like, let's say they do, the 97.9 The Beat car show in Dallas. Like, oh man, we got Migos.
Yeah.
Like, it's Dallas. Like, you got 50,000 people at a car show on the state fairgrounds.
1,000 was gonna show up off tops.
And those are sponsored by Pepsi. Pepsi paid them, not us.
Yeah,
So it's win-win.
man.
Like,
That's-
you know what I mean?
it's tough to put down.
These are the realities, and it's hard because it's Wichita. Now here's another piece of the show puzzle. Bookers, like Live Nation and the promotion people, also look at ticket sales from past concerts. So if you have nothing to judge it on, you're not going to take that risk. But let's say they look at the Lil Wayne show, they'll be like, Lil Wayne show,
Nope.
why would I bring so and so if
Yep.
he only got this?
Yeah. And that was a full show. That would have multiple
Right.
performers. Yep.
Right? Why would I take the risk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys see a decrease in the first show at interest and then the second?
It was the same.
It was the same.
It was the same. But yeah, so it's tough. So I'm like literally like we would be on air saying like we need you, like we need like it's no joke. Like if you want this to happen again, you should buy a ticket.
You gotta show up.
You gotta buy a ticket.
and
You ain't
that's
gotta
what
be
problem
on the
is.
floor for 125.
No.
Just enjoy the show from $39.95.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And that's the crazy thing. I was talking to a homie of mine when we went to the Kevin Hart show on Thursday. Just looking at how it was set up, the floor seats I would have been pissed if I had floor
Right.
seats.
Wow.
Because
Well, and that's
his-
another thing because they moved all the cheaper seats down, so I
Yeah.
would have been like, "Yo, he got as good of a seat as I did, but yet he paid $30
$40
less."
and I had to pay $100.
paid the 40 and I just got $100-something seat.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
Cool.
I better get a T-shirt or something.
But it's crazy because his stage was in the middle,
Yeah.
right? It's smack dab in the middle. So you had some on this side, some on that side. Well, I don't know if you've seen what the arena's built like, but they have
It's
like
an
the
oval.
foot. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
oval because they play the football games there. So if you're at the back of that oval, you're not seeing shit because you're on the same level as everybody else. And then Kev is like, you know what I'm saying, maybe 3 feet off the ground. And you're just sitting there like, you know, having to look around and shit like that. As in me, I'm in this section where I'm looking down and I'm literally right here. It seems like I'm face to face with his screen.
Man.
I had the better angle.
Yes.
And even though he maybe
Yeah.
half sold it out, like he still came out with some money. Like, you know what I mean? Because the way the tickets are, he still maybe made 50 grand to 100 grand. You know what I mean? Because it's his tour. It's
But
it's
see, the
comedy.
way they set it up, they were smooth with it. So you had everybody bunched in, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, once you
So it
close that
looks
little
packed.
section,
That
it
DVD
looked
look-
packed as hell.
yeah,
It looked
yeah.
packed.
And with the lights on stage,
Yep.
he probably doesn't know.
So when it come out on Netflix, man, it's about to
So
be
what he did was all
gonna
the
look
lights,
good as
all
hell.
the lights are out, and he tells everybody now you can take out your phone after
Yeah.
you've just had your phone in your pocket for 2 hours. So you know you're fiending to take your phone out of your pocket. Everybody put your lights up, and we're gonna make a video. You see that video? It looks packed.
Packed.
You would swear up and down it was a good 50,000 people in
Man,
there.
look, copy and paste, man. Look, I can have
Oh, it looked
all up
amazing.
in here.
It
But
looked
it's like that
amazing.
at some of the shows at the Cotillion. Like some of them angles, you'd be like, man, it's packed. Well, shit, you could have made the big crit show look packed from 80 degrees.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, and we can go back. I mean, there was a lot of shows there,
That Ray Schmurda show was packed.
but not the first one. See, people forget that they had came a year before,
Mm-hmm.
and there was only 300 people there.
And then Black Beatles that came out,
Popped
they were on
off,
a wave and
it
they
sold
showed up.
out.
Yep.
Now I tell you the one that really where I was like, okay, the game is changing was when J. Cole came. It sold out in 2 weeks. It was number Asians and white dudes there.
Dude, I was pissed. J. Cole
That
sold
sounds
out.
like Cole's
I had to
whole
go. I had to
demographic,
go
too.
to Oklahoma City to see J. Cole because
Yeah.
it sold out that fast here.
That's when I'm like, these are the people who will buy tickets, who don't wait. Like don't wait until 4 days before, because that's when it's like,
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you now, if you brought J. Cole again, sold out. If you brought Kendrick, sold out. Gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
So a lot of those people like Kendrick and Drake's like they barely
They're
even
not
do
doing radio
Hot
shit.
97 Summer Jam anymore.
Man.
No, and if they do, that's a guest appearance.
Right.
If anything.
Yeah, they're just there for GP and then do
Y'all
it.
making too much money.
Well,
$75,000 is not worth my time. If
Well, you know what's fucking things up
75 ain't
too.
worth the hour of my time, man, goddamn.
You know what's not only the tour, but what's fucking things up too is the Coachellas. When you can pay, like Coachella is probably paying Beyonce $1 million.
Yeah. Okay.
How can you compete with that?
Nope.
Like you can't.
Nope.
Like how much you think they paid Kendrick last year?
Kendrick
How
showed
much
up this
did they
this
pay
year
Lil Hank?
for
Yeah,
Vince
he's with
Staples.
That's what
SZA.
I want to know.
He showed up with SZA and Vince Staples.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like how much? No, it's such a big, but and then that's why you see Bonnaroo, Governor's Ball, like they go from one to one to one to one to one to one, boom, 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 boom. Like how much? Post Malone doing that. What is it? Something Day Off in Kansas City, the
Yeah.
big one
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you he's not doing that for anything less than $250. You can't compete with that.
Yeah.
Nah, you can't.
And then for the artist, because ego's a motherfucker. Let's keep it real. The artist is like, I got $250 for this show. That's my standing room price. Sorry, bro. If we were to bring Post Malone at $250, tickets would be minimum $80. Nosebleeds.
I wonder would Post Malone sell out.
You wonder if he would sell out? Nah. I don't think so.
It's crazy how much like everything that happens behind the scenes as far as
You'd be
everything.
surprised though. You'd be surprised because I mean he's not
You know what? Post probably would sell out.
he's not selling platinum records from us.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's one of the realities of it too.
That's
Like
true.
we can't have anything too trap come.
Our people ain't buying tickets. I'm telling you that right now. Black folks ain't buying shit.
Hey, if I got a babysitter, man, I'll volunteer.
I love it.
That's my only thing. I just need a babysitter, man. I just need a babysitter.
Word.
And I'm
So
pulling
yeah,
up.
and that's just what the shows that there's so much, and that's if they got the dates and everything. So it's kind of a lot of times it's getting harder and it's lightning in the bottle. Like if everything lines up and you can get 3 or 4 acts for a good price, it's on. Don't see it happening anytime soon, but you never know. Hell, we might do it before the end of the year. Who knows?
Hopefully, man.
Man, hopefully, because you guys have been.
But then it's also about
active.
6 months of planning. Like, so we usually do them in the summer. I mean, we're planning them in December.
Yeah.
And you guys haven't been planning one yet.
We're always planning something.
I thought we was gonna get him to say something. I thought we was gonna get a name.
Like we're always planning, but you would be surprised how many times like the plan like we're always planning, but 99% of the time the plans don't come through. Like there's just something that just like because it starts off like, hey, are they available?
Yeah.
Like and with the festivals, like the summertime, and with the concerts, like May to September, don't ask for shit because they ain't gonna do it.
No. Because they got all these, like you said, all the festivals.
And then they
stuff.
usually do Europe after that. So really it's about May through early October.
Has there been any artists that you can name that the radio station thought they had in the bag that it was going to happen, but it just didn't? It didn't work out? Oh, shit, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Well, I'll tell you the one that we know about. Because the flight got messed up. And that's when, I forgot when it was, what show it was, but when Webby was supposed to come at the Kansas Coliseum, and there was something with his flight, so he didn't make it. And I think they got 90 by Nature instead. Just as a filler.
That wasn't gonna work.
Naughty by nature.
Just something.
That's a whole different.
Just to fill the
crowd.
45 minutes. You know what I mean? Because we have 4 hours we got to fill, and it's like, let's just
Gotta make it do what it do.
Yeah.
right.
Word.
That was probably the one that because he didn't make it. That
I'm
you
kind of glad because now you got Webby walking through Wichita and shit with K-State gear on. Him and Boosie.
That was messed up.
Like, man, that was messed up. How y'all gonna show up to Wichita, Kansas in K-State gear?
That was messed up.
Y'all in y'all city, man.
But Royce, bro, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for coming. So much knowledge, so much that we've learned as far as behind the scenes, what happens.
Historian.
Yeah,
We'll have to do it again.
most
Could we only hit like a portion of the story?
we're gonna have to come to your house. No,
Anytime I come into the city, we can record up there.
woo!
Oh, don't tell us that.
Don't
man.
tell us
Look.
that. No, but Royce, like I said, man, we appreciate you. Just continue doing what you're doing. Continue representing us. As far I know you. There's a lot of you up there at the radio station that's are of color doing your thing. But you guys just continue to do your thing. Continue to represent us. Continue to work your ass off because, man, without 93.5, I don't know where Wichita would be. Because that is, like you said, the only hip hop we really get as far as here in Wichita. So that. Anything you want to ask, 4 times?
Just is there any gems that you can give to any young individual trying to get into the radio game right now?
I'll do a 2-for-1.
Okay.
I'll do radio. Because I also get a lot of questions from artists like, what do I got to do?
Yeah.
For radio, if I were you, start young. You're not going to make a whole lot of money at the beginning. Work. You're going to get fucked over. And what I mean by that is, like, you're going to be making minimum wage starting off. Like, it's going to be, like, kind of doing the grunt work. But it's like, it's one of those things where you have to pay your dues.
Yeah.
You have to pay your dues. Like, nobody's going to come in and just let you,
Right.
act like you own the place.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've questioned myself. There's been times where I'm like, is this the right thing to do? Should I be doing this? Every time I've come back to it. Don't just have passion, but have a purpose behind what you're doing. But you gotta love it because there will be those nights, where you're running the board for a club remote on Christmas night after you've left your family. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that sort of thing. There's nights where New Year's Eve, you're counting down 3, 2, 1, and you're in the studio.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, my first year of radio, I didn't go to any shows. I was the person on the board. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you think you're going to come in, oh, man, I'm going to own the city? They didn't hear my voice at all the first year. Nobody knew I worked there. Like, you're going to pay your dues. So if you want to get into radio, learn some editing software because you're going to have to learn multiple things. There's not too many people just doing a radio show anymore.
Yeah.
Like, those days are over. And have fun. And if you want it, it's out there. And there's tons of opportunity.
Facts.
For the artists, it's about branding. It's about telling a story. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Facts.
You can be work on longevity. You got to ask yourself: would you rather be a Trinidad James with one single for 1 year, or an
Build a
artist
career.
that build a career?
Facts.
And unfortunately, in these days and times, you kind of want the quick way. You
Yeah.
want to,
You want it right now.
yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to build and get there, build your audience, build that
Yeah.
up. Instead, they want the one hit right now, and I'll figure the rest out.
Yeah.
When in actuality, you get that hit,
Yeah.
it's really no, I'll figure it out later. Because
Right.
look at all the artists that doesn't work out that way.
Facts.
And this is from a radio guy. You don't need radio to be to
You
be
don't
successful.
need radio to
you,
pop.
You don't.
Radio is looking at SoundCloud numbers.
Well, it's like that's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, focus on the brand. Tell your story. Out of everybody in here, like, who's your favorite artist? Who's one of your favorite artists?
Jay-Z,
Jay-Z. Where is he from?
New York,
What was his record label?
Rockefeller.
How many people passed on him before?
people?
Thousands.
Right? Now, I've asked
Yeah,
3
everybody.
questions. You know deep stories. You know stories from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Who's one of your favorite artists? Or I'll tell you, fuck that. Drake. Where's he from?
Toronto,
Where's his dad from?
Tennessee.
Like you
We
know what I mean?
this shit.
You know
Yeah.
their story. You've
Yeah.
invested in their story.
Yeah.
Don't worry about, like, social media is important, but a like is the least amount of effort a fan will do for you.
Yeah. Shout out to Dennis Graham, Aubrey's father.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to Aubrey Graham.
and
Gloria and
and Graham
Agnes
Central
Reed.
Station.
Shout out to all the Beige brothers
Right.
out there.
But you know what I mean? It's like people be like, yeah, man, I got 50,000 likes. Like, what is the like? Like you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, Drake has 20 million followers, sold 1 million records. That's 1 out of 20 of his fans won't spend money on them.
Yeah.
A like is the least amount of effort a fan will do
Yeah.
or can do.
Oh,
There's
trust me, we
there's
know.
there's nothing. There's
know.
nothing, But when you spend some money, that means they're invested in you. But nobody spends money unless they're invested in the brand, in the story.
Facts.
Facts. Okay.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
XV has had no major radio airplay, none.
Not even awesome.
Right, had problems with his record label. Right now, he could tour. He can make 50 to 100 grand a year easily because people know his brand. They've invested in his stories. They know the Squarian thing. You walk around, they see him, and they're
green
doing this.
backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Trinidad James, what?
Nigga.
Like, you know what I mean? But that's hey.
Yo, did you know he was in Pitch Perfect? The new Pitch Perfect?
I did see that.
Bruh,
That's-
I turned the shit off as soon as I saw Trinidad. I said, oh, this is gonna be a
That
trash
made me
ass
want to
movie.
watch it though. That made me want to watch it because I'm not watching no Pitch Perfect. But since Trinidad is in it, I just might
You
watch
went
it.
from the one hit to being in Pitch Perfect 3.
Hold on.
Boy.
Trinidad. Well, never mind. He has only had one hit. But he's had an impactful career, man. Shout out Trinidad,
Right.
man. We need you for a tap in.
I don't want it.
What?
I don't want a
Boy.
Trinidad interview.
Boy.
Nope.
Boy, are you
I'm
serious?
good.
Are you
I'm
serious
good.
right now, man? Look,
I'm
we gotta
good.
talk, man.
He said, "Don't believe me,
good.
just watch."
We got.
nigga.
But yeah, just focus on it. Be a brand. Tell your story, and it will take time. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna be a year, 2
Word is
years,
bond.
3
Real.
years.
Real.
It's gonna take time.
Most definitely.
Hope
Just
y'all
like
listen, bro.
everything. And if you're not willing to do the shit for free, then you shouldn't do it.
And then you just gotta be willing to do it, man.
And this is another thing I've noticed. work on the performance. I don't think people here perform enough, because that's another thing. Like, you may like a song and then somebody pays a ticket. And
They're in one spot on the stage the whole time.
Well, in prime example is Trinidad James. He wasn't a good performer. Like, we brought him. Like, and it was like, he should have just stood up there and they should have just played the track.
Sing my shit.
It was like that. It was like that. I mean, so think about it. Even Outkast said what they say in one of the songs when they were doing their Coachella thing, how they walked around the table for hours and used to run rapping to get up their stamina to do like hour shows that were from the first note to the last note energetic.
Facts.
Like
Facts.
these are all things you don't see. You know, do your
don't think
research.
about that shit.
There's a lot of business behind it, but there's a lot, and the resources are out there, man. It's the internet. Like, you can find out
It's the
anything.
information era.
Yeah, you can
Word,
find out
word.
anything. So don't get mad or think that somebody's trying to stop you. Just say fuck it, keep going.
Right on.
And stop hating on the radio station because they ain't playing your music.
I mean, if you do, you do. If not, that's cool too. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
You still know the 10 songs that we played every hour. So now, but we're gonna go ahead and cut this. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Point Proven. I go by the name of Rello, that's RELLO.
4 times the genius, forerunner.com.
And we had our special guest. Go ahead and let them know. Go ahead and you've done it.
oh,
for
Rolls
years.
Royce, #1 choice. Can I do the radio voice?
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
What's up? It's Rolls Royce. We're having a good time out here. Point Proven podcast. That's more.
I love
My
it.
brother.
I love it.
Appreciate you.
That's
That's all we need.
officially on the radio,
And we out.